if we want to calculate how many gallons of paint we need to cover a certain amount of area, we can actually use the scalar line integral to calculate that area. So usually that's written like this, CF and then DS, but we're going to parameterize that. So we'll make it from A to B. Those are the time limits. And that'll go F, and then we're going to plug in the XT and the YT into our F here. And then that's going to go multiplied by the RT derivative thing over time. And one way we can really look at this is to consider this line right here, which is the curve from A to B. You can consider that like the base. So that's this part. And then this, you can consider that like the height. So we're really just calculating an area here, especially if that was a closed integral from the same point around. And because this curve is this, it's actually going to be a circle. So that actually works to calculate this area. Now, let's figure out what the R of t thing is. R of t is equal to 40 cosine of t, and then 40 sine t. So if we were to take the derivative of that, that would simply be, let's see, the derivative of cosine is negative sine, I believe. Negative 40 sine t, and then the derivative of sine is positive. So we'll have 40 cosine t. But that doesn't really matter too much. So what we're going to do is take the magnitude, and that just means you're going to do 40 squared sine squared t plus 40 squared cosine squared t. And if we're familiar with that, we know the answer is going to be equal to 40. So that's what we're going to plug in for this. And that's going to basically go on the outside of our integral. We know we're going to go from 0 to 2 pi on the t's. And for the f's, all we need to do is plug in these values into our height function. So we'll say y is going to be like, that thing is going to be 10 sine of t. So 10 sine of t plus 3. And then that's what we're going to do over dt. It's pretty easy there. So let's just go ahead and integrate the 10 sine. If I cover everything else up and I integrate sine, that's going to equal negative cosine. So we'll have negative 10 cosine t plus 3t. This is going to go from 0 to pi over 2. And there's a 40 on the outside. So let's try to solve this. Once we plug pi over 2 in for the cosine, we know we're going to get 0 there. But over here, we're going to get 3 pi over 2. Then we could try to subtract, when we plug 0 in there, we're actually going to need negative 10. So it's technically plus 10. There's also going to be a 40 on the outside here. But in the end, this is essentially just going to be 60 pi plus 400. And if we want to figure out how many gallons we need, well, remember that each gallon covers 50 square feet. These are the number of feet. We'll divide that by 50. And we should be able to get 6 over 5 pi plus 8. All right.